Hey my friend, this is Joe Bakhmutsky. I'm the founder of Power to Be Happy and the author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. Listen, have you ever been in a place when you've gone through a struggle, you've been through a challenging time, it's made your life difficult, it's turned your life upside down, and then you're in the place like, what do I do now? Because sometimes you're just struggling to get through the day. You're struggling to pick yourself up and figure out what to do next. And the life that you had before, it seems like it doesn't fit anymore. It feels like it's almost somebody else's life. And I think in a way, that's what happens. It's true, because after you go through a challenging, traumatic, difficult experience in your life, you come out changed. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we just have to acknowledge that and bring that out so that we can deal with it in a meaningful way. So today we're going to talk about what I believe is the key and something that certainly helped me transform my life in a powerful way, of going through my experience of dealing with cancer and bouncing back to life, to live the life where I feel, more calm. And I feel more in control, and I feel kind of complete, that the life has come around, and I've gone through a place where I had no idea what to do with myself. I was struggling with changes after treatment. I was struggling with a lot of changes that were happening around me and trying to figure out what happened. And I realized that I had to find a way to bounce back into life after this crisis. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I think this is going to serve you in a big way. And I think what it's going to come back to is we're going to talk about 5 key areas that we're going to talk about how to really bring that to life, that will help you to bounce back into your life after going through a difficult time. And the first idea is feeling worthy. And feeling worthy, like you deserve things. Because the trouble is, after you go through a challenging time, your self-esteem, your belief in yourself, the confidence, that just shoots down, right? So you don't start to think that you are capable of doing things. You don't believe yourself to be worthy of happiness. And I'm here to tell you that you are. If no one's told you this in a long time, I'm here to tell you that not only are you worthy of being loved, of being cherished, you're worthy of having the happiest life that you want in whatever way that is significant for you, a life where you can to contribute in a meaningful way. And sometimes it is about reminding yourself and saying that to yourself, even if you don't believe it at the start. It's about saying that, you know what? I deserve the best. Even in some of my darkest moments, in some of my most challenging times, when I felt like a part of me has been taken away, I felt that was always a part of me where I felt like, you know what? I deserve better. I deserve the best in my life. I didn't even know why, but I knew that I deserved to be loved. I deserve to be cherished. I deserve to make an impact. I deserve to have great people around me. I deserve to live the life that I want. And that is what you deserve as well. And I think sometimes it's reminding yourself that and saying to yourself, I deserve the best. So I challenge you to look yourself in the mirror each day, whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like you're just struggling to get through the day, and saying to yourself, you know what? I deserve the best. And you get to live into that. You get to live into a point where it just becomes a part of your life. But first of all, we have to convince ourselves that you, my friend, deserve the best. So say it to yourself in the mirror like you mean it, because you do deserve. You absolutely, after everything that you have been through, you are enough. And you deserve to have the life and the impact that you truly want and that you truly deserve. And the next idea I've got for you is that you really, in order to bounce back from the crisis, you really want to be you want to live in harmony. And by what I mean, and living in harmony and being harmonious is really to be in tune with other people. In tune, because that's kind of how we live in life, right? That's why we live in our communities. That's why we band together as people, as friends, as colleagues. That's why we kind of come together. That's why we fall in love. That's why we make friends, right? That is the reason. And sometimes after going through a difficult time, we kind of lose our connection to that. We lose our sense of being in tune with the world. And we gotta be able to rediscover that. And one part of that is to be able to really to invest yourself in people, to invest yourself in people around you, because the way that you're gonna get that love and support and respect, the way that you're gonna get all of that, the way you're gonna get that feeling of community or of really being included, of being a part of something, is when you give. And so when you invest yourself, when you invest your time, your energy, your presence into people around you, people that you care about, people that you meet, right? Maybe the people that you've never met before. What you're gonna get is you're gonna I'll make you this bold promise. You're going to at the very least, you're going to double your happiness. And the truth behind it is because that's what makes us happy. It's this ability of being in tune with other people, being harmonious with others, and being connected, right? That's connection. And harmony comes from being in tune, being on the same wavelength, right? And to do that, we do that first of all by giving people attention, by being there and giving them the gift of listening. You know what? This is such a rare and precious gift that you could give someone when you show up and you truly listen. Because when was the last time it happened to you? Like, sometimes it can take us a while to be in a place when we are truly heard, when you're truly recognized for who you are yourself. So give the gift of listening, give people the time to show up and tell you what they are. Give them the time and don't think about anything else that might happen later, but show up and be present. And I know that it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult because sometimes you've got your own worries, you've got your own thoughts going on, you've got your own challenges, you've got your own plans that you got to make, right? And I know that. But it starts with giving. It starts with listening. Because when you listen to others, guess what? They're going to listen to you. I know it's so basic. I know that you know that. But there's a difference between knowing that and actually doing that. Because I know there was certainly points in my life where I find myself and I feel like kind of people are not listening to me. And that's when I realized that I haven't been listening to others. That's where it all begins. So when you listen to others, then you also become in the place where you are ready to give. And I think of it as something that, that kids do, right? Is a show and tell. Because sometimes I know it can be hard to bring out those things in your life and sometimes talk about those difficult things and those challenging moments, and not just go through the kind of emotions and have the small talk with people, because I know that's what we do a lot in our culture, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's also a time and place for sharing something that is truly meaningful for yourself and your way of life. And in many ways, it's bringing something out. So I really think of it as show and tell. What can you show about yourself? Maybe what is the worry that you have, or some kind of a pain that you might be experiencing, or a difficult situation that you're in right now that you can show people and tell them about it. You know, you could even do this to someone you don't even know. You can do this with a professional, like a doctor or a counselor or a psychologist, or you could do this with a friend or with your partner. Because oftentimes we are so afraid of being judged. We are so afraid of people not taking us seriously that we don't do that. And it's also because we don't know how to do it. We haven't been trained to express ourselves. So show something, show them, and just do that. When you bring it out of yourself, and you bring it out and you describe it in a visual way as to what it's happening, and describe how you're going through it in relation to that. It's this thing that you're showing them, and now you're just talking about it and how you feel in relation to that self. And when you listen and when you share yourself, you find those two sides that make equilibrium, that create the harmony that you need, that will help you tremendously in bouncing back into the life that you want after the crisis. Next thing I think we all need to bring into our life after a crisis is bringing order, is bringing, restoring some of that calm and control back into your life. And I think it starts with, well, first of all, acknowledging where you've been and really giving yourself the credit for everything that you have been through. Because you've been through a lot. Listen, I may not know the whole story that you have in your life, but if you're here, if you're listening to this, listen, I know you've been through the struggle. I know you've seen challenging times in your life. And sometimes we have to be able to bring that out of ourselves. And one of the ways that I like to do that is to bring that out and draw it out on paper. Because isn't it true that sometimes you go through a difficult experience and really it doesn't make sense to you? You might be worried, you might be stressed, but it doesn't really make sense. It just kind of eats away at you, and it's bothering you, and you can't stop thinking about it. But it's kind of all over the place. And I think sometimes we have to make sense of it first. And we have to kind of sideline some of those emotions and worries. And I think the best way that I know to do that is to really draw it out on paper. And I call it the outcome map. And I basically have a sheet of paper, and in the middle I write whatever is bothering me the most right now, and I write what that is. For example, it might be waiting for my next scan result to see if the cancers come back, and then I write out what are all the possible outcomes. For example, the cancer's gone, or maybe the cancer comes back. And I write the percentage, right? I write the likelihood next to each outcome. And I write about it and think about what is it that I can do? How realistic is it? And what is it that I can specifically do today? So we write out, take a blank piece of paper and write out whatever is bothering you right now, whatever you find that you might be struggling with. Maybe it's something it might be something kind of big, or it might be something that it bothers you about maybe just this one day. And when you write that out, write all the possible things that could be causing it, or all the possible things that it could cause for you, right? All the possible outcomes, things that could come out of it. And then think about how likely are those things to come true, and just give it a few seconds each. And then think about what is the one thing you might do about that today. This way you're taking worries out of your head and you're putting them in front of you, so you can kind of deal with it in a way that is going to really serve you and that restores order back into your life, which is crucial. Next thing, I think what we all need to experience and to feel on a deep personal level after going through a challenging time is feeling liberated. And I think that feeling of freedom, it's not going to come on its own. I think what I've personally come to realize is when you go through a difficult time, you kind of feel empty. There's this void, right, that is created almost inside you, right? Because you've gone through something that's changed you, that's changed your life, that's changed maybe the way you see yourself. And so this void, it won't get filled on its own. And we have to replace that struggle. We have to replace it with purpose, with something that makes sense to you and to your way of life. And I often think of it in terms of a question that helps me to clarify that. If I lose touch with that, it, it comes back to me as the way that I think about it is, who do you want to help and why? Because ultimately, I think we live in a world where we are connected, right? We're connected to other people, and we want to be able to make a difference to either people we already have in our life. But maybe that's your partner, maybe that's your child, maybe that's your parent, maybe that's your best friend, maybe that's your customers, maybe that's your boss, or whoever that might be. Or maybe it's people that you can relate to in some way. Maybe you share a common struggle, or you have something in common, right? So it's crucial to really bring that out and to figure out, who do you want to help and why. You will figure out what you want to do next. But replacing that sense of purpose, of doing something that you want to do to make a difference to others, to a cause that is greater than you, the cause that something that you feel passionate about, whether that's your own project or contributing to someone else, making a difference in whatever way is meaningful to you, right? When you do that, you're gonna feel that void. You're gonna replace that struggle that was there. You're gonna replace that with your sense of purpose, and ultimately, that is what will make you feel liberated. That's what gives you the freedom from having those chains pulled around you, dragging you down. And last thing I want to talk to you about is, we all want to be energized. We all want to feel alive. We want to feel like we've got so much going on. And we all want to have this energy, that excitement, that physical presence, that is almost overflowing, that just like that people can also pick up on and get excited about and get fired up. And I think it's difficult to do, especially if you've been through things like you and I have. But what is really crucial is that this energy, it comes from being, I feel it comes from your presence, from being fully and present in the moment, of giving your full attention to a person or to a task, to an activity, and giving them a full and undivided attention, and not worrying about what you have to do next, and not worrying about what might happen, or what they might think, or what will people around you think, or will this serve you in the long term, or will this thing even work out. But being able to give yourself the best in the best possible way. And sometimes it's hard. And that's why I think it's a process where we can kind of train ourselves into doing it. And I like to do it in just giving myself a time of 10 minutes. I'm catching up with a person, and I'm going to give them full 10 minutes of my time. Like, just go fully. Just have a great conversation. Or, if I'm thinking of, for example, my son, right? I'm going to sit down and just going to have fun with him. I'm not going to worry about anything else. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at the computer. I'm just going to be with him. And there's nothing else matters. And everything is going to put aside. And that didn't come to me, it didn't come easy. I had to train myself, because especially in my situation of going through cancer, I was just so worried and tense and on edge that I really had to kind of train myself to do that. And I think it was me telling you this mindset that I will give it my best. I'm going to come into this moment and be with this person, or do this task, and I'm going to give my absolute best. I'm going to give everything, and I'm going to give 10 minutes, or you can do more, of course, but start with 10. Give 10 minutes of your absolute best, and you will feel energized. You will feel, because all of that tension and worry, or at least a good chunk of it, comes from just being all over the place, of not being focused, of losing that concentration. That's what mindfulness is all about. That's what meditation is all about. That's why these things, all of these ideas and And all of these different practices are so huge in our culture because that's what we miss. It's bringing back that sense of presence and giving something your full and undivided attention to feel energized. And I think it starts with a commitment of saying, you know what, I'm going to give it my absolute best. So these are the 5 areas that I think can serve you tremendously in terms of bouncing back after the crisis, that will make you whole, that will make you feel complete, right? See, see all of those things, they make up the word whole. And that's by design, because that's what we all are looking for. We're looking to feel whole again. We're looking to feel complete again after going through a challenging time. We're looking to be worthy and saying that, you know what, I deserve the best. I deserve the best. I expect the best to come my way. But I'm also going to be harmonious with people around me and in tune by listening like it matters, because it does. And also being able to show and tell, show your struggle and talk about it. And bringing order back into your life, bringing order to take those worries out of your head and in front of you so you can see what they are and find better ways of dealing with it. And then feeling liberated by replacing the place of struggle, the challenge, that void that was filled, to fill that void with purpose to where you can contribute in a meaningful way. And if you're struggling to come up with an idea of how you can feel that void, how you can find and rediscover that sense of purpose, is asking, who do I want to help and why? And reconnecting with that. And then ultimately, feeling energized is so crucial. And we do that by being fully present in our life, by giving someone full and undivided attention. Because the place where we began in saying that I deserve the best and I expect the best, we close the loop on that by saying, you know what, I will give it my absolute best. I will give it my absolute best to be there for people that I care about, so that I can have the life that I want to have and the life that you truly deserve.